Hello, just thought I'd do a quick tutorial on how to make custom image buttons using my Apple Mac computer. If you're on a Windows computer, you could probably do the same sort of thing with a few Windows software that I've heard that we've all heard of, such as PowerPoint. It sounds a little bit unusual for me to use PowerPoint, or in this case, I'm using Keynote. Keynote is kind of the Apple Mac version of PowerPoint. And the reason why I like Keynote is because it's already available on the Mac, or at least it was for me, and I didn't ever pay for it. But if you're on a Windows and you have PowerPoint, I believe in some ways it's actually easier with PowerPoint, because you can download aspects of your elements on your canvas into an image and save it to your desktop, or at least you can with the most recent version of PowerPoint for Windows. Anyway, I'm not really an expert for PowerPoint on Windows, so I just know that you can achieve the same sort of results with PowerPoint, but possibly some of the menu items might be different, I suppose. But just bear with me. This is really for Mac. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've made a kind of a nice looking button here, and I'm going to show you how I made that. It may not look exactly the same because I can't really remember what I did, but I was just really playing around, and I just, same with PowerPoint on Windows. You get these elements. In fact, you get a lot more elements and a lot more customization with the PowerPoint on the Windows, but with Mac here for Keynote, you can do a lot of different things. So we get these kind of shapes that you can add in. So I just basically used this particular shape right here, and then in order to achieve this this kind of glare, the kind of shine, or I don't know what you would call it, but it's kind of this little element. It's quite easy to do. So I added that in there, and it gives it a nice kind of look. So what I did was I created a duplicate of that, and then I right mouse clicked on it, and I'm going to make editable, and then we can change these kind of points and do kinds of different things. But what you can also do is you can actually delete some of these points. So I'm going to delete the top 3 there. So I kind of want to, and then I'm going to just move that down a bit, and I'm going to change the angle, and you can do some kind of fancy things like this and stuff like that. But I mean, you can just play around with it, and then now you've got this interesting shape. And then you go over to the right side here, and then you switch to gradient fill. Okay, and you can play around with the angles of the gradient. See how that works. And then you can do the opacity and change the kind of the transparency, make it a lot less transparent, about 20%, I suppose. And then just put that over the top there like that. And then if you want, you can go back to making it editable again, and change things around. I'm just going to change it around a bit, but that looks quite good. Actually, I'm going to change the angle of the glare. That's not bad. And then we can add in different shapes. Again, I'm going to add in a line here. Great thing about one of the reasons why I like PowerPoint or Keynote in this case is because you can drag things around, and it gives you very easy guides. As you drag it, you can center it up. It tells you exactly where it should be if you need it central. But with this, I'm going to put in a drop shadow. So what I've done here is it's already done the drop shadow the way I want it, simply because that was the previous setting that I'd selected. Normally, what a drop shadow would be kind of dark, and it would probably be blurred or something, and then you've got the different offset alignment. But in order to achieve a kind of an indent like I had it, is you don't want the blur, and you want the offset to be quite close to the object. You can sort of play around with it, and then you can play around with the opacity as well. But then you need to make it kind of white, and then that gives it kind of an indent look. There it is. Pretty good effect. Might just make it a bit more obvious. There it is. Okay, so that looks quite good. And then what I also did is the main background here, not the shine itself, but the main background, I added a shadow. But with this you can either do a drop shadow, and I play around with the drop shadow. It's up to you how you want to do it. But what I did was I used the contact shadow, and it gives it a kind of makes it kind of look like it's hovered above. It gives it quite a cool effect. And again, you can play around with the the offset and stuff like that, and play around with that. So it's already starting to look quite good. And then of course you can add in text. I'm just going to do a shadow, but again what I'm going to do is do a kind of an offset again. I mean a kind of an indent like I did before. I just changed the you can also change the font, obviously. A font that I downloaded was Boogaloo. You can find it on the internet if you just search. It's quite easy to add in different fonts that you found from the internet. And then I sometimes might just have an arrow or something. So there you have it. A nice looking button. Yeah, a nice looking button. So of course, you could do however you want. What I also did was I also added an additional shadow right here. So what I did there was I grabbed the background, the main background, not the shine, but just the main background, and I duplicated that, and then I changed the color of that to a darker blue, and then I sent it to the background, and then I just sent it, and then kind of used the arrow keys to offset the background. So there you have a kind of a nice looking button. That's how you make your own custom buttons. And I, personally, I look at that button and I think, I'm not even going to be able to find a better button than that, even by searching ready-made buttons on Google or anything, because it's totally the way I want it. And if you belong to a certain company and you're promoting a specific company, having nice buttons like that with call to actions that are kind of branded to the company you're working with, or the kind of the industry. If you're in, for example, Bitcoin or something, you can add in Bitcoin type symbols or whatever. So you can really make some really nice call to action buttons using this. Now, if you're on a Windows computer and you're using PowerPoint, I think what you can do is you can select the whole thing, and then you can right mouse click, and I believe there is a button, there is a menu item here that allows you to download as an image, or you can group the whole thing and then download as an image. I'm not quite sure, but I seem to remember on the latest version of PowerPoint for Windows you can do that, and that's easy, and you can download it and export it as a PNG file, and it should keep its transparency in the background, so you have a really nice button. So it's actually easier on Windows, I believe. But with a Mac, what I do is I select the whole thing, all the elements, and I copy everything, and then I can open up an image editor. I personally use Cola, I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you're using the default image called Preview, which is already on your Apple Mac, you can either paste it directly onto a blank window, or even if you click Command and then N, and it'll open up into a new canvas, but it'll paste whatever you have in your clipboard, and then and it'll paste that in there as an image. And then what you do is you just save that or export it, and then you make sure you select PNG because you need the transparency, and then select the alpha, and then type in a name for your image, and then just save it to your desktop so you can grab it. So I'm just going to go to my desktop now, and there it is. And you can just upload that or add it to your capture page or landing page. So now you have a very fancy custom button that you created all by yourself, and it looks good. Obviously, I just use the default colors of this, but you can change the colors, your main colors. Change the colors how you want. Totally up to you how you want to do it. So all of it is totally customizable. Once you've created your templates, then you can create unlimited buttons the way you want it, and just sort of change the colors, change the icon elements, change the text color, and however you want to do it. So this is something that you can help your team with, and if you want to help them create their own capture pages for your team, people are going to want to join your team if you're providing this kind of support and value. So I hope this was quite an interesting tutorial, and I'm not sure if Windows users were able to do what I thought you were able to do, and I'm sorry if you do comment below asking questions. If you're on a Windows computer, I probably won't be able to help you because I'm not using a Windows to do this. So sorry if I wasn't much help for Windows users, but I believe with PowerPoint you can achieve very similar results. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope this was useful. Bye for now.